Right now on my channel, one of the most popular series is the Specialist Stories series, the series where we look at all of the specialists who are in Black Ops 4 or in Black Ops 3 and discuss these characters' backstories and look at the information. For example, one of the more popular ones on this channel was we looked at Spectre and how it appears that Spectre's real name is Jessica Mason Green and how that came to be. One of the more recent videos we did is looking at Reaper and whether or not it's feasible that Reaper will be in Black Ops 4. Today, you guys have asked me more than anything else to do a specialist backstory on the new specialist character, Zero. Now, this was way easier said than done. For most of the characters we have in Black Ops 4, we have specialist stories, cutscenes, and even a bio within the specialist headquarters in Black Ops 4. However, when they introduced Zero into the game, Zero does not appear in the specialist headquarters, which means Zero does not have a cutscene, nor does Zero have a bio. So we really have to dig deep to figure out anything about this character whatsoever. So the real thing I wanted to figure out in this video is who is Zero? What is her name? What is her backstory? Where does she come from? And why is she not in Black Ops 3 if she is in Black Ops 4? And today we are going to be attempting to answer all of those questions. However, before we answer the question, who is Zero, I first want to address who she isn't, because I've been seeing a lot of rumors with people saying that she's certain people from past Call of Duty games, and I wanted to address those first. Starting off with Chloe Lynch. Chloe Lynch was a character in Black Ops 2 who we speculated this character could be, and a lot of people still consider Zero to be Chloe Lynch. Now, I understand why people think that. If you look at the two characters side by side, there's absolutely a pretty solid resemblance aside from like hair color, but when we really dig into these two characters, we find that they're actually very different. First of all, Chloe Lynch in Black Ops 2 was 100% American.
Solarium worm attacking the electrical grid. Power stations, water distribution, it's every state. Oh wait, it's all over the world.
Whereas when we look at Zero, Zero is actually German. You can tell this, first of all, because of her accent in-game.
What's the job? Disruptor ready. iSpeaks ready to hack.
And we'll talk about another reason coming up in a minute. Also, another thing, when you look at these characters side by side, it's important to note that Chloe Lynch has blue eyes, whereas Zero has brown eyes. So obviously, these two characters are not the same. Now, another thing I heard is that Zero is actually the daughter of Chloe Lynch. Once again, this is very, very unlikely, simply because Zero has a German accent and Chloe is American. It is possible that while Chloe was traveling around the world, she got knocked up by some German guy and left the kid with him, hence why Zero has a German accent. But I think the chances are really low of that. Also, Zero would need to have been born around the time of the events of Black Ops 2, and Chloe in that game did not look, first of all, like she had a baby recently, or like she was pregnant. So once again, odds are extremely low of that being true. Option number 2, and rumor that I've heard a lot, is that Zero is somehow closely related to Outrider. Now, I don't really know where this rumor came from. It must just be the hood that both characters have up most of the time. And once again, this is extremely, extremely unlikely, as again, Zero is German. Another way I can prove this is if we go to the Call of Duty Wikipedia, you can see that her nationality is German on there as well. On top of that, Outrider is Brazilian. So I'm guessing that a German didn't give birth to a Brazilian, but hey, weirder things have happened. On top of that, if you don't believe all of this, we actually have Zero's real name. Oddly, Treyarch actually gave it to us yesterday in a daily update. And the very first line of this states, "Meet Lenny Vogel, call sign Zero." So Zero's real name is actually Lenny Vogel. So at this point, all we know about this character is her name is Lenny Vogel, she is German, and her call sign is Zero. So what I did is I searched through old Call of Duty games, including Black Ops 1, 2, and 3, for any German characters with the name Vogel, and nothing came up. In fact, throughout Black Ops games, there has been very, very few German characters, aside from Zombies and Call of Duty World War II. Those are the two exceptions to that statement. And Lenny Vogel has no relation to any of the Zombies character, or I even checked any of the soldiers or small characters in Call of Duty World War II. There is just no relation between the two. So then what I had to do is dig a little bit deeper into the background of Zero. And once again, this started with the description that Treyarch gave us yesterday. So the rest of this reads, she's a self-taught digital security expert with a penchant for countermeasures and an arsenal of technology-crippling hacks. And she's damn good in a fight. So this doesn't give us too much information about her other than she is self-taught, she is a hacker, and she's incredible with technology. On top of this, the one question I was left asking is how come, first of all, none of the other specialist characters, or really any other characters in the past few Call of Duty games, have been German. So I dug into that a little bit and found out that most of the specialist characters in the Black Ops games are part of the Winslow Accord. The Winslow Accord is basically like the CIA of the world in the future. Basically, they're here to protect the world from the CDP. As it turns out, Germany was actually part of the CDP until the year 2036, which is about 10 years before the events of Black Ops 4. So only recently would German people be a part of things like the specialist character group. And it would make sense for a hacker to be brought on board because of how prominent technology has become in society. In fact, all of the soldiers in Black Ops 3 had something called a DNI, or direct neural interface, basically a computer that is built into their brain. So at this point, we know Zero's real name is Lenny Vogel. We know she is a self-taught hacker who has become a part of the Winslow Accord because of the recent events in the world, but that's pretty much it. So I once again had to dig a little bit deeper, and honestly, I couldn't find much. So what I did is took her name and translated it from German to English, and Lenny means nothing in either language. However, Vogel in German actually means birds. So now this is where we start diving really deep, getting into speculation. I don't have a ton of proof to prove this, other than it just kind of makes sense. So, as soon as I saw birds, it reminded me of something from Black Ops 3. You see, the bad guy in Black Ops 3's name was Corvus, and anytime you saw this bad guy, he would be surrounded by birds, specifically ravens. But to fully understand this, you first have to understand who Corvus is. So Corvus isn't actually a person or a thing, it's a virus that is built into computers, specifically soldiers' direct neural interface. And Corvus, the virus, was killing soldiers throughout Black Ops 3. That was really the main story of Black Ops 3. Now, how Corvus was made was originally an attempt to put a program into soldiers that would allow people to control the soldiers remotely. However, the virus, Corvus, became sentient and started killing soldiers willy-nilly. So why am I talking about this? Well, I think Zero is the character who created Corvus. I believe that Zero was hired by Savannah to create a program to control the soldiers and by accident made Corvus. So now that you know the theory, let me prove it to you. So the main storyline of Black Ops 4 is that all of these specialist characters have been brought together by a character named Savannah. Savannah turns out to be evil, and her sister, Jessica Mason Green, takes over the specialists and turns them against Savannah. Now you may notice that all of the characters who are in this image here at the end of the Black Ops 4 story are the ones that return in Black Ops 3, plus Recon. Now the rest of the characters who are missing from this do not return in Black Ops 3, and I think the reasoning for that is that they decide to work with Savannah instead of working with Jessica. One of the characters who is not in this image is Zero. Now, as we know, Zero is a hacker and someone who is incredible with technology, so I think what Savannah does is tell Zero to make a program that can control the other specialist characters via their direct neural interfaces. That way she can have control of the specialists without them being on her side. So, Zero then goes to make this program, does so, but does something wrong, and this program turns into Corvus. Not enough proof for you? Let's keep going. So, as we know, Zero's actual name is Lenny Vogel. Vogel, the last name meaning bird. Now, the other thing we know about Zero is her call sign is a 0 with a slash through it, which is essentially the Latin script for zero. But guess what? That is not the only thing that is Latin. The name Corvus is also Latin for Raven, which is of course what is always seen whenever you see Corvus in the Black Ops 3 campaign. So I think Vogel named her program after her last name, found another name for bird, which was Corvus, aka Raven, but then something went wrong with the script and it started killing soldiers, and this would explain why Zero is also not in the Black Ops 3 campaign. So, is this proven? Absolutely not, but I think it's a pretty damn good theory. So let me know down in the comment section below, did I convince you that this is Zero's backstory, or do you have some other theory? Let me know down in the comments. Also, if you enjoy this type of video, want to see more, I would really appreciate it if you could hit that like button. These videos take a ton of research, a ton of effort to edit together, so the more likes these videos get, the more likely I am to continue with these specialist stories. Also, if you're new here and like what you see and want to see more, the best way to stay up to date on my videos is make sure you hit that subscribe button and have notifications turned on. But guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, peace out.
We are reaching for the stars, but we're making this too hard, and I want